Hello everyone. So today is just a quick video on our after ride rituals. So this is just a short process that you can do after each session with your horse or each ride, where you can really reflect on the session and do so in a really empowering way. So you can help yourself move out of any times where maybe you feel like you keep repeating the same patterns. This is a really great way to connect in with this feeling of empowerment and having a growth mindset where you have um, clear guidelines for moving forward and your next steps, and a clear guideline on what to focus on to help you keep growing instead of feeling this loop of always repeating the same things over and over again. So, the first step after any of our sessions that's really going to help us on our journeys is to think of what went well first. And it's really important to anchor into this feeling first because what we focus on expands. So you may have heard where attention goes, energy flows. And then we begin to create more and more of this. So it's really, really important to anchor into what went well. And it doesn't matter how small that thing is. It may be the tiniest of things. If you're struggling to, like, if it was a real doozy of a session and you're struggling to think of what went well, that's even more and a more important time to really do this work. And it could just be like one tiny moment where you felt like you were in harmony. It could be one step. It could be like your horse softened for a moment. It could be just the tiniest of things. And then really anchor into it and just allow yourself to like remember how that felt, that one moment. And then even if you can just feel it for 17 seconds and just remembering, oh, we felt this harmony. There was one great moment where, we perhaps it was you stopped and it felt like you were really feeling each other in that moment. And, or it could be like one step on the ground where you were walking and it felt like you were in harmony. And you just anchor into that feeling, and if you can do it for as long as 17 seconds, you will notice that more you get more and more good feeling thoughts that come, which is really important if you want to create more and more of that. So just take the time to think, and even if you're like nothing's coming, like you can even anchor into that feeling like, oh my goodness, I have a horse or I have access to a horse. And how incredible is that? Like knowing not everybody has that privilege, and how amazing that that is something that you have and how special that is. So there's always something, and remember to really anchor into it and amplify it, like choose to amplify it. If it was something that you'd normally brush off like, oh, okay, this was okay, I guess. Like we managed to do an exercise and it didn't completely fall apart. So instead of that, you want to really amplify, like choosing to amplify what went well. Okay, this thing went better than last time. There was one movement where it felt like we flowed, and really choosing to focus on that and let it grow and expand. And then the next step is to then look at what you could improve, because we're not just ignoring everything that didn't go well, because of course this is an important part of learning and growing, and it's important information and feedback for us. But the main thing that's really important to understand is there is a difference between being really critical with yourself and beating yourself up, and looking for what you could improve and doing it in an empowering way. So, if you're finding that when you get to this step, you're just being really critical of yourself when you're thinking of what you could improve, and you're like, oh, there's tons of things, and if you're going down that rabbit hole, make sure that you realize that that is not helpful. And as I was studying to become an RTT practitioner with Marissa Peer, she would talk to us about how there is one sure way to make sure that you wither your self-esteem and your confidence, and that is by continuing to say critical words to yourself. And there's a sure way to also make it grow, and that is through praising yourself. So, as we said, looking for what went well, what did you do well, and choosing to really praise yourself, because that's what will help grow your confidence and self-esteem. And if you find that you are constantly criticizing yourself and beating yourself up, thinking, but I need to do this because that's how I grow, that's not it. But you're not alone if you are doing this, where you can constantly finding that you're criticizing yourself. This is something I used to do all the time. And it was this deep subconscious healing work through RTT, which is rapid transformational therapy, that really helped me. And so, if this is something that you know that you would love support in, then that's a great place to jump into the Healed Horseman's Journey program, which I'll put the details below if you'd love to jump into that. That's where we can do the deep subconscious healing work. But everything that we're talking about here, of course, is also going to help. So, when you're looking at what could I improve, just know there's a difference between beating yourself up and just looking for something that, okay, I can see here, this didn't go so well. So let's look at what we could improve, and then the steps that you're committed to making to make that improvement. So you can see this is different to just beating yourself up. This is, okay, what could I improve? And then what are the next steps I can take to make this happen, to cause this growth? So let's think about this. So if it is something like, I want to, okay, there's a skill that I want to learn, like perhaps it was an exercise I've done with my horse, maybe it's getting the right canter lead or something like that. And you're like, okay, that I could have been clearer in my signals, what I'm asking of my horse, or I could what could be improved is knowing some exercises to help build up so that my horse feels really prepared for this exercise. And if it's something like that, then you know, okay, what steps am I committed to doing? Perhaps it is looking at a training video from like one of it's either your instructor or even on YouTube. Like, can you find a video that is going to support you in learning this skill? Or is it that going to your instructor and having a lesson on this, or asking your instructor a certain question that's really going to support you in moving forward? If it's something like during the session, I noticed that I came unstuck, like with my energy, like when things started not going well with my horse, I noticed that I spiraled down and my feelings and emotions got completely caught up in it, and I wasn't able to help my horse in that moment. If it's something like that, then maybe it's you would love some mental and emotional support. And with that, you could do something like the Healed Horseman's Journey program that I have on offer, that really helps you get to that deep healing. Or maybe it's someone else that you really resonate with, that you feel like, yes, reaching out to them for some support would really help me. And then committing to actually following through with this. And this is the key part, because our minds have a way of trying to bring us back to feeling safe. And like, that's the purpose of our mind, is always to keep us safe. And it does that by keeping us doing what's familiar. And even if the familiar is keeping you feeling in this place of feeling stuck, and you're not, you consciously you want to get out of it, your mind is still trying to keep you there, because it knows that you're still safe if you keep doing what you've always done. Maybe not happy and fulfilled, but you are safe in that And so the key here is noticing that's natural for your mind to try keep pulling you back, doing what you've always done. And this is where you've got to say, right, if I'm deciding that I'm going to show up in a new way, I've got to follow through with these steps and really commit and follow through with the process and know that it's normal for your mind to come up and say, try talk you out of it. So it's really important to anchor into your intuition and feeling what's right for you, and then noticing those thoughts are going to come up. Know that's normal. And what are you deciding? Is if this is something that you would really love to move through, then it's going to take some commitment to a certain process. Whether, like I said, is it if it's a skill-based thing, is it looking at a video? Is it going to your instructor and having a lesson on a certain thing? What is it for you? And then following through with it. So, just to recap, these are the three steps. First, after your session, looking at what went well and really milk it, like amplify it. Oh my goodness, like it felt so good when we were in harmony for this split second. It felt amazing. I really felt like we were moving together as well. And I felt this bond in this particular moment, or my horse softened, and that felt really, really amazing when we had this connection for a moment. And like anything that you can do to really milk it and at least feel it for 17 seconds, you're going to find more and more similar thoughts come to you. And this is a great place to be, to feel empowered and to look for the next step of what could you improve and what am I committed to doing to make this improvement. If you've already been anchored into this energy, you are going to choose things that are going to really support you, coming from that energy. So those are the three steps. I hope you found this helpful, and I will drop the link below to the Healed Horseman's Journey program if that's something that you would love to dive into. That's available, and it's all ready to go, and it's a lifelong program. You get access for life, and any updates that come through, you receive them as well. Any questions, you are more than welcome to reach out and ask me, and I will put a link below where you can have a free call and see if it's right for you. Um, and or just go ahead with this ritual and let me know how you go.